Welcome back to the group chat. I'm your host, Charlie Wilson, and Archie joins me as well. I'll tell you what, the Punters Club, the Group Chat Punters Club, saw green for the first time this weekend. We returned to profit, Archie. A couple green ticks there.
Yeah, green ticks, especially late in the piece, Sunday afternoon, Monday morning. So that was great to see. But we also cover the Vegas standouts. Obviously, the Crusaders are the comeback kids on the season right now.
Absolutely.
And potentially look into a bit of the T20 World Cup semi-finals. But there was also a bit of breaking news.
Oh, the breaking news. That's right.
That you won't want to miss, especially after we had kind of dropped a wee tidbit prior. So
yeah, the oil was leaked. The oil was leaked, and then it was confirmed later on in the pod. So join that for a little head coach announcement.
Oh, baby.
And then what? You gave me some basketball players. The turn of the 2010s to blind rank, and it was going well until it wasn't.
Calamity.
And finally, what a massive weekend it is this weekend. Sport, racing, it's all go up in Auckland with the footy, Phillies and fans. Holy moly. Let's get into it. So over the weekend, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Saw some bloke, mid-30s probably, wearing a football shirt, soccer football shirt, that is. Not going to name which team because we'll leave that up to the audience to kind of figure out maybe which teams would do this or which supporters of teams would do this, but had, I'm guessing, their own last name on the back of their jersey. 30-year-old man, own last name on the back of your jersey. Yay or nay for this?
Yeah, it's a tough look, I think. I mean, one, it's certainly very expensive. You're getting a customised jersey, so that's the first thing. The cost is outrageous.
Okay.
And I think it just looks a bit odd once you get to probably that certain age. I think maybe once you're over 12, 13.
Yeah, that's the number I had in mind. 12, 13 was like, because if you're getting a present from, say, Nan or something, or your parents, and that's your first football jersey, maybe your second football jersey, you're probably going to get the name on the back, especially if it's done from family.
I feel like that's when you also get the full kit. You get the shorts, the socks, you get the load with it. So I think, 12, 13, once you kind of hit that, maybe even college, intermediate age here in New Zealand, that's when you got to start either going blank jerseys or picking up some of the stars. What have we got?
Yeah, I mean, this is blank. My Arsenal one's blank. Tatis, you got players on the back, blank. What's your Chelsea one there?
Blank.
Yeah, and all the American football jerseys, they're going to have player names on the back. That's for certain. Say, okay, what about if we were Newcastle fans?
Yeah.
Callum Wilson. If we wanted his jersey, how do we explain that to people? Because we're going to get slaughtered for having Wilson on the back of our jersey.
It's a pretty simple explanation. You say it's Callum Wilson.
Yeah,
especially
he's
if
our
you got
favourite
the correct number, though.
Yeah, true.
He must be number 10 or number 9 or something.
Yeah, but then you start putting like number 7 Wilson, and it's a Real Madrid jersey or something.
Yeah, but that's different because there's no 7 Wilson. So if you go Callum Wilson, you get the right number, then you're fine.
So you'd pass that?
Yep.
What number is Callum Wilson? Let me see. Anyway, so I feel like I remember he's number 9, Callum Wilson. So we could get a Newcastle jersey, number 9, Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
And you'd let that fly.
Although I'd never purchase a Newcastle jersey, but yeah.
Did you ever have a Chelsea jersey with Wilson on the back?
I don't think I did. My first ever Chelsea jersey was a Lampard one.
Yeah. Number 8? I don't think.
Legend.
I might have had... Who did I have on the back of one of my Arsenal jerseys? We definitely had like a Leo Messi Barcelona kit. But yeah, never really owned name on the back. I remember some of the United fans growing up having their names on the back.
What about teams that don't have any marquee players on them?
Give me an example.
Sunderland.
Nah, but if you're supporting Sunderland, there's going to be a player you enjoy.
Okay,
you're picking them. Or you're running blank. Blank's fine.
Yeah, blank's fine. What about, we go more local here, Auckland FC or the Phoenix?
Okay, wait. Here's another thought on that. Wearing, like, say, if this was a GC Randall jersey, same age. GC Randall and I, same age.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing another bloke's jersey that's the same age as me.
Yeah.
Is that good or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
You think that's fine?
Yeah.
I think if I was going to wear the Auckland FC jersey to an Auckland FC game, I'd have it blank on the back. I don't think I need a player on the back, especially if it was one of those original jerseys too. The what was it? The first 100 fans or something that signed up, and it's got the names and stuff down the pinstripes. That's a bit iconic. You don't need any name or number on the back of that.
Yeah, no, I think Auckland FC kind of jerseys, I think depends on the league, but players move in and out so fast as well.
Well, I had the Ben Wayne jersey, the Knicks jersey, and that's mates though.
Yeah.
So you can back and support your mates by wearing their jersey. That's sweet. Yeah. Oh, you can allow that.
So you wouldn't wear anyone same age or younger?
I don't know. Like, am I putting on a Lamine Yamal Spain jersey?
What happens when you're 30 and
it's got to get to a certain stage when you're older. Yeah. I feel like about now, though, the age you and I are at, I don't know. I feel like you just got to go blank.
Depends how good they are.
Yeah. So would you wear a Lamine Yamal jersey?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
So I'd wear a Neymar jersey. He's old. I wouldn't wear a Ronaldo jersey.
What about a Neymar jersey from when he was 18?
Santos. 19, yeah, I think I have worn a Santos jersey.
Well, there you go.
But he's not 18.
It's representing the 18-year-old version of him.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, so 30-year-old wearing the team they support, their jersey, their own name and number on the back, customised, the verdict's no. I reckon that's going to be a popular opinion as well. Surely.
It has to be.
Okay, let's get into a couple of things from the weekend then. Big one, Vegas. Standouts from Vegas, Archie? What do you reckon?
Yeah, personally, the two standouts for me were in the Bulldogs game. And that was Stephen Crichton, obviously, the hero.
Yeah. He
obviously set up that try in the corner, running it off the scrum after, was it Val Holmes ran offside to try tackle him the first time?
Yeah.
And then reset, got the ball again, and then threw a worldie of an offload out to Carraz, who scored in the corner rather timidly. Kind of looked a bit bizarre.
He did, and then he got up.
Yeah, a bit ginger. And then obviously hit the drop goal to win the game there in Golden Point. They had two different decisions. The dummy half got to make the decision where they wanted to go, and they went with Crichton, and he banged it over. So that was one. And then I think Lockie Galvin was pretty superb. And what I almost see is his first proper go out with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it did feel that way. It was kind of coming out party for the Dogs.
Yeah, but just in general, like, he's set up for success now. He's had the time in the off-season to get to know his teammates, and there's not so much kind of angst around him playing for the Bulldogs anymore. There's not as much media following him, so kind of just looked like he was playing pressure-free footy. Yeah, taking the line on, throwing. He got a good try assist or a line break assist in the first half.
Well, I think that was the key to what he was doing, right? He was taking the line on. He was playing that attacking footy, ball on two hands, and getting those offloads, putting guys in gaps. And you were big on him to score a try. Yeah. And to be fair, watching him all game, you kind of felt like he could dot over at any time.
We threw 3 or 4 dummies from within the 10 after setting up a few opportunities there. So, and he got close. He almost got that runaway try.
Yeah, got mowed down or just clipped as he's got through the gap.
Yeah. And then I actually had one other name. It was from the game before. It was short-lived, but Fletcher Sharp.
Yeah.
I thought he looked pretty solid for the Knights there. Obviously, had that knee injury that's now been cleared from an ACL. But he's kind of been pegged as maybe one of the future stars of the game.
Yep.
Especially in that standoff position. The Knights need as much help as they can get. And based on what we saw for that 30 minutes from Fletcher Sharp, he looks athletic. He looks like a real gamer, I suppose, in terms of knowing how to play the game the right way and putting his team in the right positions.
Knights fans will be happy with that result, with the win over North Queensland, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, they probably went over there not expecting a whole lot, and then they've seen what their team can do. The new halves pairings, you got Dylan Brown in there as well, who put a kick out to Marzio on the wing. So he got his first try assist. He seems like he's underway, which is great for me because I've drafted him in fantasy, NRL fantasy as well. So I stuck with Dylan Brown. I had him last year.
Yeah,
bit of a mediocre season fantasy-wise, but the move to the Knights, and I was pretty happy to see him have a decent game and the Knights do what they do because it should mean fantasy points for me this year, hopefully.
Yeah, and you have to take a lot more of the role now with Fletcher Sharp out for a period of time, obviously. Not the ACL tear that was once feared, but still we have to go through a bit of recovery there. So Dylan Brown, stock should be flying up right now in the fantasy world.
Absolutely, I'm happy to have him. And then we go, Crusaders? You kind of talked about it last week with it's all going to click at some point. They weren't too far off the ball considering some of the scores they've seen, especially that Brumbies one. It was just a matter of when it was going to click. Yeah. Both teams getting up in the Chiefs-Crusaders matchups over the last few games. Thought it could be that one, but you weren't too sure, and it absolutely was. They got out and 10-point winning margin even after giving the Chiefs a head start.
Yeah, I think we should have seen it coming, I suppose. We did discuss it a little bit. The scores that they had earlier in the season, or the 2 losses to start off, I think were disingenuous to the performance that they had. We kind of spoke about they were 1 or 2 passes away from breaking games open, and then the momentum just swung the other way, especially in that Brumbies one. So it looked pretty dicey early doors with the 14-0.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are up.
We were on Chiefs 1-12, and we were thinking, shoo, we need the Crusaders to show it a fight to keep it 1-12, and unfortunately, no, they showed too much fight.
Yeah, and I think Rob Penny obviously went to the big guns.
Like we thought, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, they put together a performance. They executed. Their ball handling was a lot better. Not so many turnovers. Kicking game was better. And they were just all around the more physical team than the Chiefs. So I think potentially thought they might just steamroll through this Crusaders side after.
So the Chiefs were a bit too big for their boots.
Especially after that 14-0 start.
Yeah, well, they got out to $1.33 was the shortest I saw them at.
Okay.
And I know there are a couple of people out there that had a punt on them at $1.33 as well. Some rather large ones, which obviously did not come through in the end. People would have been happy punting the Crusaders, though, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. We should have looked into that after the comments we had on the podcast.
Yeah, it's true.
But we kind of just went with the public's opinion, I suppose.
Yeah, I did think that when I was going back through and listening to it. And we were talking about the Crusaders, things might turn around, and then we go ahead and back the Chiefs. But, well.
We
live and we learn.
The exciting part for the Crusaders is that 3 of the players that kind of turned it around for them, they're not necessarily the big names. Yeah, George Bell, who's obviously a capped All Black, but fell out of favour last year with the national team. He's been superb for 3 games, regardless of how his team's played for the first 2. He was awesome. Potentially, honestly, could be starting over Cody Taylor for the Crusaders if he carries up this form. Taha Kimura.
Yeah.
This was, as we kind of spoke about, Lockie Galvin, this was his coming out party as the first 5 for the Crusaders. Got stuck behind Revez Reihana last year. Kimura was an under-20s kind of prospect that played with Noah Hotham through school and all that, so they've got a very good relationship from what you could imagine, playing a lot of rugby with each other. And Hotham obviously took off pretty quickly. Kimura got stuck behind Reihana, as I just said.
Yep.
And this weekend was awesome. 70-odd run meters, took on the line, kicked well, made everything from them.
Now, here's a question for you. What do we think of Noah Hotham's Barnett?
Barnett?
What's
that?
The blonde hair.
Oh, Barnett. Why Barnett?
I don't know. Just as Barnett.
Oh,
on top of his haircut.
It looks dreadful.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not a
good
fan of it at all.
No,
but you don't miss him on the field.
No, he looks a lot bigger though too now.
Oh, he looks like he's hit the gym, for sure.
He got under the bench press, as Razor would say.
Yeah, he must have taken a leaf out of Cully's book, I reckon. Yeah. But I've just pulled up a photo here of Noah Hotham. He's got the Justin Bieber look from 2016 maybe, when he had the shaved, what do you call it?
Slim Shady?
Yeah, the Slim Shady look. But he does look bigger. We'll give him that.
Looks bigger. I'm not sure. Maybe he lost a bet, potentially.
You must have.
Yeah. It was a bit of a thing going around, though. I think some of the Hurricanes players, did they do it, for Jerry Collins recently in the preseason?
Yeah, well, I can get around
sense.
that.
Yep.
Unless Noah Hotham somehow has a connection to Jerry Collins.
Yeah, well, then that's fine, and we've got to take back what we said then. But if he's just done it for the straight aesthetic look.
I hope it's not an aesthetic
with no
look.
kind of...
Unless he's done it to stand out and be different.
Yeah, well, he needs to be noticed if he wants to take that number 21 jersey for the All Blacks. He's made a good start at that.
Yeah.
But the last name I wanted to throw at you was Che Fihaki.
Yeah.
The winger for the Crusaders, winger fullback. Rob Penny spoke about him after the game. He kind of said that Che Fihaki is a guy you just have to find a place for.
Yeah.
And in a team that's full of All Blacks talent on the outside and the outside backs, Che Fihaki seems to be a bit of a coach's favourite. He makes plays all the time, can kick goals, does a bit of everything. So that could be another All Black shout here very soon.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to bring it back to the Barnetts here. I heard Liam Lawson talking about his Barnett. And I don't know if you've watched the first Drive to Survive episode, but there's a clip of, I think it's Pierre Gasly talking to him as they walk out to do the reveals for the 2025 season.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his hair, and Liam Lawson goes, I have the perm. I'm rocking the perm. And then I was listening to an interview with him yesterday, and he said he's going to switch it up this year. He's going to do something different. So I reckon we could see a bit of Noah Hotham or something different for Liam Lawson on the grid this weekend.
Liam Lawson had a perm last year.
Yeah, well, he said it.
I don't believe it. His hair was always straight and slick to the side.
Not in that, not in the release when they were all at the O2 and all the teams, and he had it stuck up. He was Red Bull, and he was flying. Everything was coming up Liam Lawson.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that
the
didn't
perm.
last very long though, did it?
No, it didn't. Three races.
But Sonoda's not even in a seat this year.
No, exactly.
Is,
so I think it's worked out well for Liam Lawson. So keep an eye out for his banner this weekend as well. Before we get on to the cricket, because there's a big semi-final coming up this morning. Is that the right? Yeah.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Dave Rennie seems to be the oil coming out of the AB's head coaching job with Jamie Joseph. Stock going down when Tony Brown's committing to South Africa. Now, I'm not sure where these sources are coming from, but I've seen a couple. I've heard a bit now.
Yeah.
Dave Rennie might be the guy.
Yeah, I've been listening to a few different interviews around like both of the coaches from a little while ago, and just players that have played with under them.
Yeah, okay.
And I think what was maybe one of the downfalls for Scott Robinson was, he seemed like he was pretty in line with what he wanted to do and had his plan and had the long-term vision, and that's fine if it works, but obviously there wasn't an alignment there. From what I understand, potentially Jamie might be fairly similar. He's got his long-term vision.
Yeah.
He's locked in on what that should look like.
So what, not willing to be flexible?
Yeah, but I know that was maybe one of the issues people had with him early in his coaching career. That might have changed a bit.
Yeah.
But he's still going to have that kind of rigid long-term vision that, if he gets given the right amount of time, he thinks he'll get there, and that's fine. That's how some people go about it. But I've heard Dave Rennie is a lot more collaborative.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe the All Blacks want someone that's going to be a lot more flexible straight away.
Well, surely out of all the reviews that came out with Razor and everything, and they've kind of pinpointed that as one of the problems, they're not going to want to bring someone in who has a similar mindset. They're going to look at that collaborative kind of coaching style.
Yeah, and Dave Rennie supposedly is happy to make big changes on the fly. He's not too worried about the team always looking the way he wants it to be.
Yeah.
He wants to bring in a bunch of good coaches around. I'm not sure if that's what's happening for the All Blacks, but I assume he wants a lot of good minds around him that can not only help him learn the game more and advance what the team's doing, but if that's something that New Zealand Rugby want, go ahead.
Well, there you go. I'm going to timestamp this around 12 o'clock Wednesday. So if the AB's coach does get announced and it's Dave Rennie, we can come back and pull this.
Okay, beautiful.
So we can snap that up. Okay, T20 World Cup, South Africa, New Zealand, and Kolkata, 2:30 a.m. Thursday morning. South Africa having a blind over tournament, 7 games unbeaten. Already beat the Black Caps this tournament, but neither of these sides have seen success in white ball World Cups.
No, surely the Black Caps would have gone the furthest, no? In that 2015 World Cup? ODI?
Yep, so they lost the ODI World Cup to Aussie 2015, lost the ODI World Cup to England in 2019, thanks to the boundary count back. So New Zealand suffered a lot of heartbreak in finals, but they've also been what's the word I'm looking for here? They've handed the heartbreak to South Africa in semi-finals.
Yeah.
You remember that 2015 semi-final?
Yeah.
Must remember it well, don't you?
Jav.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
What a tear to your eye.
Oh, absolutely. How could it not? What do you do? Was it 5 to win off the last 2 balls?
And he hit, was it Dale Steyn or Morné Morkel?
Dale Steyn over wide long on.
Yeah, just clear the stance, pull shot over wide long on almost.
Let's not forget about the Dan Vettori cut shot.
No, Dan Vettori played a vital role in that run chase. Holy moly. But yeah, you couldn't have scripted that better with Grant Elliott hitting the winning runs against South
African
Africa.
lad, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. You see, you picked out what I put down. I like that. But anyway.
Yeah, this one here, I think South Africa, they're going to be leaning on their firepower up top. Aiden Markram has been one of the most prolific run scorers this tournament. I think 3rd on the table with over 280 or something runs. So he's going to be the key for them. They've obviously got a good bowling attack. They've got power through the middle order, David Miller and is it Brevis?
Yep.
So
Brevis.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Baby
power
AB,
there.
I believe he goes
by.
by.
They say that. We'll see what he does in the big stage.
Yeah.
But New Zealand, I mean, talent across the board, maybe the most talented white ball team we've ever had. You've got
I agree.
the openers that are just...
They probably haven't fired as much as you would have hoped this tournament, considering the Big Bash form they came off. But that's what you like about tournament cricket. Like, you talk about England, they've not been winning pretty, but they've been getting the job done. Are they going to peak at the right time against India? Are our openers going to peak at the right time, knock off South Africa, and then head into the final? For now, and Seifert certainly have the power to do so.
Yeah, well, the great thing about this New Zealand setup is that there's 4 or 5 batsmen that can take the game away from you, which is something that we haven't really had in the past. It's been relied on 2 or 3 names. So got the openers. Rutchin, he can obviously do a job, whether that's working through the middle overs or I think he's pretty underrated when it comes to the attacking part of the game.
Yeah, especially in the T20. Like, he kind of goes around and, like, you picture him striking anywhere between 80 and 120. Yeah. But he is more than that. He probably does strike more,
he's
like 140.
Plus, yeah. Yeah, and
I think goes about his business quietly.
One guy that needs a lot more, I suppose, given his flowers to him was Glenn Phillips. Mm-hmm. He might be the most complete modern cricketer right now, just with what he offers.
Why is that? Because he can bat left-handed, right-handed, field, bowl, keep, does everything.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the value he provides, and he's not just doing a little bit of everything. He's actually becoming a master with the bat, I feel.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's definitely taken the next step to becoming almost a superstar with the bat.
Yep.
He's taken a bit of a back seat with the bowling with Rutchin.
That's
finally being given a chance with the ball.
Happy with that to happen if he can focus on his batting.
And then GP, obviously, maybe the best fielder in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget he came up as a keeper. So he's just got about in baseball they call, the superstars. They've got 5 tools or something. He's like the 5-tool cricketer.
Yeah.
He can do everything he wants. So he needs to get a lot more of his flowers given to him.
I feel like when it comes to New Zealand cricket, always very humble, and especially when the media is talking about the New Zealand cricket team, always very humble, always the underdogs. Now, I'm looking at the odds here against South Africa. South Africa, $1.57, New Zealand, $2.35. We never actually hype up the Black Caps. Like, they are never one of the best teams in the tournament. They're always there or thereabouts. Consistently, they have been one of the best performing teams in white ball ICC World Cups. And you said it earlier, this could be the most talented team. I called it back in December. We could win this thing. We have a very good team, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us go and win it. Now we're there in the semi-final. I think it's kind of time, like, New Zealand actually, the Black Caps get their credit for being a good side. Talk about your superstar players. Never really too many Kiwis come into that conversation, but now we do.
Yeah. Obviously, you've got players filling up the IPL now that can't even make the New Zealand side every now and again. You've got Michael Vaughan calling us the best pound-for-pound cricketing nation in the world.
Yeah, thanks to our club cricket down here.
Yeah, club cricket. And that's where it all starts, right?
Absolutely.
So club cricket, especially the Wellington scene. That's where, I mean, the Firebirds, they've produced a lot of good players here recently.
Well, I think quite a few of the Wellington Firebirds are New Zealand contracted.
Yeah. So
when you look at that.
Obviously, Wellington club cricket's up there.
Yeah.
But, Michael Vaughan calling us the best pound-for-pound nation in the world. Makes sense. Only got a population of 5 million and we compete with all these other teams.
Across all formats.
And then when you bring up Rutchin, just as the name, he's the New Zealand superstar, like on the global stage, is one of the big 4 now. You know, moving on from Smith, Root, Williamson, Coley to Jaiswal, Gill, Brook, and Rutchin.
Yep.
People will look at you and think you're crazy, but
it's true.
Everyone out there saying it, people, with former players with podcasts and pundits, they're all saying Rutchin's in there. So
I just don't think we back the New Zealand cricket team enough as Kiwis.
Because we've been scarred from these just coming up short and everything bar that Test World Championship.
Well, yeah, it's the only ICC trophy we've got.
We just always seem to come up just short.
We've won the Champions Trophy before, but I'll tell you what, there's a blessing here. No more boundary countbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, if it's tied at the end of a super over, now we lost that 2019 World Cup was the boundary countback. You go to a second super over and a third super over until someone wins. So finally, I've got that sorted, which is good. Very good.
Yeah, the only disappointing part about this tournament has been, obviously, it being in India and Sri Lanka. Games are in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like this is at 2:30.
So when it was the 2015 World Cup, people were getting behind it because games are out here, or even
in Aussie.
Yeah,
like the final of the ODI World Cup might have kicked off at around 5 p.m. our time. Really?
So the whole nation got around it because everyone was awake for it to happen. But getting up at 2:30 is certainly a tough ask unless you're the biggest of Black Caps fans.
I might get up for it. I mean, we've got a flight up to Auckland tomorrow. You might as well be up early. I might get up for this. Fennell and Glenn Phillips, 15 plus runs each is the Super Boost, $3. How about it?
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, let's get into our group chat game of the week. And that almost could have been the group chat game of the week because not too often you come up to a World Cup semi-final. Or maybe you do for the Black Caps case, but you just don't go past it. What are we picking?
I'm going with the biggest game on the NRL slate.
Warriors Roosters.
the one just after that, Panthers Broncos. Warriors Roosters is a great game, potentially 2 top 4 teams, but I think you got the reigning champions coming in against the dynasty of the Panthers, who are trying to refine that kind of dynastic form.
Yep.
It's just set up to be a hell of a game. Where is it? In Brisbane, I'd assume.
Yeah, Suncorp.
Yeah, in Suncorp. Friday night lights over there.
Yeah.
9:30 or maybe 10 o'clock our time, 10:30 our time. It's going to be a hell of a game. You've obviously got a lot of storylines surrounding the Broncos right now.
Yes.
None more relevant than Payne Haas, obviously on the way to the South South Sydney after this season.
Yep.
Will he look the same?
Well, funny you ask. I was reading something about this, and just the coaches that have been surrounded by Payne Haas over the last few years have all just said of how much like a great person he is, how much of a leader he is. He's a respectable man. He likes to keep that respect as well. I don't see any way Payne Haas does anything other than what he does best, and that is turn up each and every week for the Broncos and try win them another premiership, because he is just that type of guy. He's not going to give up on them midway through the season. I think even if they're out of the top 8 come towards the end of the season, which they won't be, because the Broncos
are stacked.
They are stacked. But like say hypothetically they're in that situation, he is still going to be turning up, leading that team. And because then he wants to come out at his best for the Rabbitohs next year as well.
Right.
Like, I don't think there is any world where Payne Haas is half in for this season.
Yeah, it's different because normally in these kind of transfers you see happening in football where players, you can tell that they want to move and they don't care as much, or they've got a move plan and they don't care as much. But league players, even Mitch Barnett's move.
Same thing goes for Mitch Barnett.
And a lot of them talk about how getting this kind of solidified move before the season allows them to just play their football freely and not have to worry about what's going on off the field. So
makes sense, I think.
Yeah, it's different to the sports you see in the US or in Europe, where players, they would rather sit out than play for the team if they're not getting what they want in contract kind of negotiations. But league seems to be different.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, as you said, Payne Haas, he's going to be remembered as a Bronco, potentially, unless somehow he has an even better half of his career.
Well, if they go and win a premiership this year again, go back to back.
Well, they already named him as the best Bronco of all time. The Broncos
right?
did that on social media.
Jeepers.
Because he won the most Bronco Players of the Year awards. He's won 5 or something, which is the most.
Wow, fair dinkum.
So
fair play.
Yeah. So, and then 6 months later, he was gone, not even, but, you know.
Well, I think he'll still have plenty of respect, and it's like, I think next year when he is at the Bunnies and he goes back to Suncorp to play the Broncos, he'll receive a warm ovation from the crowd. They will love him up in Brisbane. And yeah, I can't imagine him breaking any or burning any bridges with the Broncos this season.
Now tell me, Souths and Broncos, I'm not too privy on rivalries. It's not a big rivalry.
I don't know. I just know Wayne Bennett was the one to give Payne Haas his debut back in 2018. So he's kind of going back, repaying favour to Wayne Bennett and going for the Bunnies. But yeah, I don't know. Is the Bunnies Broncos a rivalry?
Yeah, and where's Payne's obviously New South Wales as well, isn't he? So he's probably from Sydney.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a homecoming for him.
Yeah, he's kind of done what he needed to do for the Broncos, who was, I assume, maybe the pathway he came through. You'd be pretty hard-pressed to let a talent like that leave your academy if you're another team. So the Warriors tend to do it.
The Brisbane Broncos' biggest rivalry is obviously going to be within Queensland. By what I'm reading here. Queensland Cowboys, Gold Coast Titans, Dolphins.
For some reason, the Storm come to mind.
Yeah, that's probably just because they're two big dogs when it comes to
and there was that
history of NRL.
Cam Smith versus Corey Parker, that kind of generation there, that they seem to be pretty neck and neck for a while. Yeah.
That could be an interesting dive into the NRL's fieriest feuds.
Because who's the Warriors' biggest rival?
I don't know.
Is it a team we just can never beat?
Well, our bogey team's the Titans, recently.
Yeah, but the Storm, they've always handed it to us on Anzac Day and things like that. And remember, 2 years ago on opening game of the season, they scored 2 tries in 3 minutes to beat us?
Yeah. Oh, they're going to have their work cut out for them this week against the Roosters. Holy, we'll get to that. But, okay, so Broncos, $1.70 favourites. Panthers $2.15. The Lions at -2.5. Total points set at 41.5. Ezra Mam starting in the halves with Adam Reynolds, Haas starting, Walsh there. Got a couple stats for you.
Yep.
The Broncos have won 7 of their last 8 at Suncorp.
Yep.
Paul Alamotti for the Panthers scored 8 tries in his last 5 games. Tony Staggs has 5 tries in his last 4 games at Suncorp.
Jeez.
So what are we thinking? If we're talking about Group Chat Game of the Week and what we're going to have a punt on, you almost look at like a Alamotti Staggs double. You're backing the Broncos to win? What do you think? Are the Panthers going to be back to their same old selves this year? Because they stumbled out the gates last year and found form late.
Yeah, I think what was great about the Panthers season last year is that they had so many holes to fill, and they ended up filling them with young talent, Casey McLean and players like that. So they became legit contributors and almost star-level players from just randoms or players that were just, they were not very well known. Obviously, you're filling in for some of the big departures that they've had over the years, James Fisher-Harris and stuff like that. So. And they kind of found their footing there. So I expect them to be more the second half of the season Panthers than last year's first half. The Broncos, though, they were extremely special. And even in games when they were down late, obviously they're the comeback kids as well. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the Panthers get off to a good start, but even the Broncos squeaking out a win, where that's with a try in the last 5 or so.
I think if the Broncos win, there'll be some pundits out there that are like, nah, the Panthers, they're not there yet, or, But I think if you're losing, it depends how you lose as well. But if you're losing to the Broncos on opening weekend, it's the biggest game, like you said. I think even if they do lose, it doesn't mean they're not back because it is a very special Broncos side. And the Panthers, they keep it close. They lose 1-12, or, they put up a good fight. That's big ups for them heading into the season for what they've got. And like you said, those guys that they bring up through step into those superstar roles. I think that's a testament to their dynastic franchise that they have had going over the last 4, 5, 6 seasons. So I expect them to be back right up there in the top 4 again, win or lose against the Broncos this weekend. I wouldn't read too much into it for Penrith fans, unless they get blown out of the water.
Yeah, even then, though, that could just be an outlier. So no matter what happens this weekend, I'm not going to be backing all the way off what Penrith could be this year. Okay. Just look at the talent on the team. Dylan Edwards, Alamotti, as you said, Targo, McLean, Talangi and Cleary. That's the back line. And that's a pretty special back line when you got Cleary leading them around. And you got the youthfulness of McLean in there. To'o is obviously an experienced campaigner. Isaiah Yeo back leading the forward pack with Moses Leota. And there's so much talent there. I don't see it going super south, if that makes sense this year.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay. Let's take a break there, and then we'll be back with you're running the game this weekend. What are we doing?
We're going to look into some basketball, kind of blind rankings, because obviously basketball has got some of the best debates, I'd say, in all the sport. Some of the most fierce debates. So I'm going to give you a blind ranking.
Blind ranking basketball players. Let's do it. Oh. Dave Rennie is the coach.
No!
Hang on, we're back. We got a live react to this. Dave Rennie's just been announced as the All Blacks head coach. Yes. Holy heck. Shout out, Mum, for bringing us the tea.
Oh, jeez. That's why we just got a call from Daisy.
About it.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we can go back maybe 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, and we broke the news. Crazy.
Yo! The reactions to that. What are we going to see?
I think it's a positive move. Obviously, we spoke about being the kind of being the kind of coach that's collaborative, flexible. And obviously a lot of the star players weren't happy with the old regime and how it was so set in their ways, per a lot of reports and things. Yeah. So it's a big change. How do you feel about an ex-Wallabies coach being the All Blacks coach now? Because that's a big storyline.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's definitely going to be people that have that gives them a little bit of goosebumps there, or, they got a wee bit of bad blood around having an ex-Wallabies coach. But you look at what he did for the Wallabies during those tough times. I think you mentioned that last week. You just got to take it and just be like, well, he's done well. He's earned the job. Here he is. You got to get behind him. I mean, if you're not getting behind the All Blacks head coach when he steps in to a situation like this, you can get screwed. Like, honestly, just get out of it if you're not about it.
He must have blown away the likes of Kevin Mialamu and Dane Coles, who's obviously been there with Shag Hansen,
Mm.
Graham Henry for Lamu.
Yeah.
So these are All Black legends, and they know what it takes to build a culture, a winning culture. So when those two are in the meeting rooms learning and seeing how these coaches operate, they obviously were down in Dunedin with Jamie, seeing how he operated with the Highlanders, and then they would have seen or spoken a lot to Dave Rennie about how he wants, what plan he's got for building the winning culture again of the All Blacks. You have a lot of faith in those kind of guys making those decisions because they're All Blacks legends that have been there, done that, and just savants of the game.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of these comments and everyone's fired up about it. Everyone's excited. This is on the Instagram. No one is anything about being the ex-Wallabies coach. I think that's fine as long as he's got Kiwi blood in him. I think people are happy.
Well, he's Kiwi through and through.
Exactly.
Obviously coached up the road here from us, Upper Hutt Rams. I believe he started out with some of his coaching career. So he's a local grassroots, knows the New Zealand rugby scene all the way down to what we play on a Saturday morning, afternoon. So, yeah.
Someone said here, can he breakdance though? Does that matter?
Clearly not. It might work for the under-20s regime and it might work for Super Rugby, but obviously didn't work or didn't, what's the word I'm looking for here? I blanked. Didn't resonate with the players in the changing room for the All Blacks. So
the breakdancing did not resonate. No. Fair. Yeah, wow. Okay, wow. That is huge. Welcome, Dave Rennie.
Remember, we had it here.
Yeah. Go back to, 15 minutes ago on the pod and you'll hear us talking about the oil.
Yeah.
Dave Rennie. Yes. He's in.
That's awesome.
All right.
I will say I'm more interested to see what staff he builds around him too.
What do you have any early takes on that then?
Give me Stephen Larkham, the Brumbies head coach. What a coup that would be from Australian rugby. I mean,
people might have something to say about that then.
But you see how the Brumbies have operated Super Rugby for the last 3 or 4 years, and they're just straight out dominant. They might not have all the talent that, the Crusaders and Chiefs have had to kind of get over the hump to the final.
Yeah.
It's not for the Chiefs, obviously. They make the final, but they don't win it. Dave Rennie won with the Chiefs, though.
Yeah, true. Maybe he knows how to get over the hump.
And the Chiefs were obviously I would have been young, but from what I remember, they weren't great through the 2000s, right? They were a great rugby franchise.
I'd say I was young too, mate.
Yeah, but sure you would have heard.
Wow.
I feel like when they turned it around, it was kind of stunning. And Dave Rennie was the guy to do it.
Maybe. All right. Well, I guess we'll touch more on that at some point. Probably next week we build that. When did we build the coaching lineup last week? Was that 2 weeks ago?
Last week with Jamie Joe as the head coach.
Yeah.
But that was more because of the narrative we were being fed through the media. It was always going to be Jamie Joe, but then...
Good news for the Highlanders.
Yeah.
They get to keep Jamie Joseph down in the deep south and hopefully have a successful season down there. I did read one comment on the post, and it was, sweet, lead us to a World Cup win, and then does Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown take over and lead us through the next World Cup cycle?
No, I think Jamie's swung and missed twice now.
That's brutal. You got to feel for him.
Yeah. He came back to New Zealand. He might have even heard potentially a few months, 9 months ago when he came back to New Zealand, that there could have been some fractures within relationships. So he might have came back for that reason. That's pure speculation. But it's not to do anything with the oil that we were just talking about before. So, regardless, we'll move on to the next section. We've got our game, as we said, basketball, blind player rankings off the top.
How many are we doing? How many am I? Because I need to know the 10. List here. You're doing 10?
10. It shouldn't take very long.
Yeah, but that's tough. All right. 10, I'm going to have to know these.
And it's going to be players that have played since the turn of the year 2010. So as soon as the turn of the decade there, they had to have played.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay. So, starting off, it should be pretty clear for everyone. Everyone would have seen what we did a couple of weeks ago with All Blacks players, correct?
Yep. Yeah. Everyone should be accustomed to the old blind ranking. Surely.
Okay. Let's go. Kawhi Leonard.
Now, I've always enjoyed the Canadian teams when it comes to participating in the big four sports. Toronto, he bought them a chip. He's got that iconic moment beating Philly as well, with plonking that. Was it a no? It was a 2
mid-range over Joel Embiid.
Yeah, one of the more iconic moments I can remember from the turn of the 2010s. I'm going to put Kawhi I don't know what's coming, but I'm going to put him at 4.
Okay. I'm happy to throw a number at you.
Right.
Just in terms of 2-time champ, finals MVP, 7 times All-Star.
There you go.
Remember, he was massive or going up against LeBron.
Yeah, and that was when Pops was real big about him, man. I think there's a clip where LeBron has taken a free throw, maybe, and a young Kawhi Leonard gets subbed into the game, and you just see LeBron give it the
sigh. Yeah.
Because Kawhi's coming the claw.
And it shows how dominant he was, Kawhi, on the defensive side of the ball, because Andre Iguodala got a finals MVP for defending LeBron. He averaged more than 38 points per game or something.
Yeah.
So Kawhi was a serious star there.
Maybe he needs to go higher than 4 then.
We'll give you one swap as well.
Okay, I'm keeping it at 4. I'm happy at 4. Maybe a swap, depending.
The next name?
Yep.
Ricky Rubio. FIBA World Cup MVP.
Yep.
I believe he was an all-rookie first-team player.
Okay.
And just an all-round solid guard.
Good player. Got to respect him. I think you're going to throw a couple names at me that could maybe fit below him. I'm going to go 8.
Okay. Next up.
Nice roll of the R's as well.
Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards.
Ooh, yeah.
4-time All-Star, career 24.5 point per game scorer.
Now, based on the careers they've had so far, I don't know if you can put him ahead of Kawhi.
Well, this is up to you,
But he's got the potential to.
Yeah, but we're not going off potential.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to go. So we're just talking strictly based on their careers to date.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is going in the 6. That could be too low for him, but 6.
All right. Here's another one of those Toronto champions, Marc Gasol.
Ooh.
He won, obviously, a championship, Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-Star.
Yep.
And he would have been in those league honors teams, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Marc Gasol. I assume probably won the World Cup as well, with Ricky Rubio being a fellow Spaniard.
Yeah.
He's the big man.
Did he win a chip elsewhere?
No.
Just the one.
Played for Memphis early in his career, I believe.
Did he ever play in LA?
Yep, played with LeBron.
Okay.
The best big man outside of Anthony Davis in LeBron's LA.
I'm going to say he has to go 5. He's got a chip under his belt. Maybe a FIBA World Cup, who knows? But he is going to go in at the 5.
DPOY.
Yep. Okay, I'm happy with him at 5, just ahead of Ant-Man.
Russell Westbrook. MVP. Season triple-double average twice.
Yeah.
2-time scoring champ.
Yeah.
9-time All-Star.
Okay, this is hard because he doesn't have the chip to go ahead of Kawhi. But from what I learned last week, and we're talking about statues and who deserves statues, lots of the comments are like, I wouldn't just base it on championships. So if we're taking that route, I think Russ, he was unbelievable at OKC.
Who's got more notoriety in the city of Oklahoma, Shea or Russ?
I think Russ.
Yeah. I think if you ask fan that has lived through both eras so far, it's Russ.
It's Russ. It's Russ every day. Now, are there going to be 2 better players than Russ that you give me? That's the question, because do I put him at 2 or do I put him at 3? He's going to go 3. I think you are going to give me 2 more players that can go higher than Russ.
Okay.
So he's going
Next man up, Chris Birdman Anderson. The big hawk in the Cats.
Yep. Now, tell me his accolades.
He's a champ.
He won the chip?
Yep.
Who with?
Miami with LeBron.
Oh, okay. Oh, was he on that team?
Yeah.
Crazy dog.
Yeah, Birdman.
Do you have any other stats for me?
I think he won the Big 3 Defensive Player of the Year, which is that Ice Cube League.
Oh, yeah. Serious stuff, man.
Yeah, the 3v3.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's...
Is that... Yeah, okay.
You don't take that into account.
When you talk about aura, though, the Birdman, just his presence.
No one knows his name is Chris Anderson.
Just thinking darts when you're talking about Chris Anderson.
Yeah, but Birdman.
Tell you what, though, he could be a darts player.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to put him at... Does he go above Ricky Rubio? He's got the chip.
Intriguing.
I'm going to put him at the 9, below Rubio.
Next up, potentially a top 3 player of all time in my favorite list.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving. Champion, 9-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, the infamous shot, I believe, over Steph Curry.
Yep.
One of the duo that was 40 points in a finals game.
Yeah, he's got to go 2. He's got to go at the 2.
Best handle of all time, most skilled scorer of all time.
When you're building a 2K My character, you want to have the Kyrie handles, that's for sure, especially if you're building a point guard.
Speaking of aura, he's got it.
Yep.
And he doesn't need to be all flashy off the court to have it. He just turns up Uncle Drew.
Has he ever been, when he goes to these teams, though, he's never been the out-and-out superstar because he's always had the duo, or in a couple of the cases in Brooklyn and Boston, you've got the trios, but he's never done it by himself, where I feel like Russ, you could probably argue No, he's going to. He's going to. I might have to make a swap at some point.
Okay, 2 more.
I've got 3 more on my list.
Oh, shit.
Got 1, 7, and 10 to go. So I've got Kyrie at the 2, Russ at 3, Kawhi 4, Marc Gasol 5, Ant-Man 6, Ricky Rubio 8, Birdman 9.
Oh, yeah, I've got 3 more.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, here we go.
Math ain't math.
Lou Dort. Champion.
Mm-hmm.
All defensive team. Might I add, one of my least favourite players in the league.
I'm going to put him at 10. Yeah. I'm going to put him at 10. I think, doesn't do a lot for me, old Lou Dort.
In fact, he does a lot of not great stuff.
Well, no, it's kind of come out, recently, has it? Dirty dog on the court, going after stars, sticking his leg out, just playing straight up dirty. Yeah. We're not a fan of that.
Draymond Green-esque.
Yes, but without the Draymond Green accolades.
Yeah. Yep.
Lou Dort, 10.
Okay.
2 more.
One of the kind of saddest careers.
Oh, we're talking D-Rose here.
I wish. Paul George.
Okay.
9-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive.
One of your favourite players growing up from memory.
Yeah, before what?
He was in Indiana.
And his leg snapped in the Olympic team. He went to the conference finals against LeBron and was a superstar, freak athlete. Yeah. 3-and-D wing, 6'10", but could score his own bucket.
Okay. I'm going to have to go, and so I'm going to put him in at the... Put him in at the 7, and then swap him with Ant-Man, I think.
All right.
So Ant-Man goes to 7. And we're putting... But then does he go again up over Marc Gasol?
Marc Gasol championship DPOY.
Nah, I don't think he does. Paul George, you're going 6. You're swapping with...
He also had that Dame shot hit over him.
Yeah.
Not a good shot. Dame. It's always a good shot.
Okay, so this is the one that's going to my 1, and I can't do anything about it.
Okay. I think you might be happy with this, honestly.
Yeah, right. Let's hear it.
Cooper Flag.
Are you kidding me?
Jeez.
I mean, if we're going off potential, he could be a cover athlete on 2K. He could be up there. When you're talking LeBron, you're talking Wemby, and then we're talking Cooper Flag.
There's a tier of LeBron and Wemby in terms of prospects, and then there's another one below.
Well, I can't do anything about it. He has to go at 1, and I'm not happy.
His accolades, 60-odd games and a first overall pick.
You know, I saw something around the duel with Con, how do you say his last name? Knuppel?
Yeah. Today.
And was it the two rookies to reach 1,000 points before All-Star weekend?
Mm.
And there's an elite list of duos, and there's not many. Mm. They didn't make it because Cooper Flag didn't reach 1,000 points.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. Even more reason for him to not be my number 1, but he is. Alas.
So read your list from 10 to 1.
Flag in the 1. Uncle Drew, Kyrie in the 2. Russell Westbrook 3. Kawhi Leonard 4. Marc Gasol 5.
Kawhi would have been my 1 on this list.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably could have had him higher. If I could do this again, I don't mind with a Kyrie, Russ, Kawhi 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Kawhi, Kyrie, Russ.
And then we've got Marc Gasol 5, Paul George 6, Ant-Man 7, Ricky Rubio 8, Birdman 9, Lou Dort 10.
The back end's not bad.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just the 1's done.
I screwed the top end. Screwed the top end big time. I was holding out. Kind of did what you did when we were talking about blind ranking the ABs and you were hanging out for like a Richie or a Jonah or a DC.
Cody Taylor wasn't terrible, though.
No, Cooper Flag is
dreadful.
Yeah, that's honking.
Not as a player, but
as a pick to be my number one. Honking. Yeah. All right, I guess we'll take a break there, and then we'll get stuck into this Punters Club from the last weekend, Archie, and you can run us through the results, and then huge weekend this weekend.
All right, so this weekend in the group chat, we finally got up in the green.
Come on!
For the first time.
Give us some green!
First time in 3 weeks. And I think we kind of had the law of averages swinging our way because, man, we had some close calls and kind of very unfortunate mishaps through the first 2.5 weeks. So this weekend, though, we started out, we lost 11 straight bets.
Is that right? This weekend?
This past weekend. Because we started with 320 in the pot.
Yeah.
We had some bonus cash in there, obviously, from the promos team.
Yep. Shout out promos.
Yep. And so 520, but we don't count the bonus cash.
Nah.
So, 11 straight bets.
Wow. That's honking.
Yeah.
But how many of them were losing by one leg?
Oh,
I reckon 11 of them.
Yeah, most of them. Obviously, that was a tough start, and that was all the way through Sunday. Until Sunday afternoon, we hadn't seen any wins. People were getting a bit restless in the chat. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Because the ROI was not looking good.
No. But what came around Sunday afternoon that we'd been hanging out for?
Yeah, we'd been looking out for the league.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
league. The league compared to Super Rugby is as we said, there's more patterns of play that you can kind of see, and things tend to happen constantly in leagues, whereas Super Rugby is a bit more random in terms of try scores and things like that.
Yep.
So we won 3 multis between midday Sunday, let's call it, and the early hours of Monday morning.
Yep.
We won 2 on the Knights Cowboys game.
Yep.
A try score, a double with Dom Young and was it Murray Tuolangi?
Yep.
So that returned us a good bit of coin, maybe $80 odd. Then we had a 3-leg multi that came in. I can't exactly remember, under 50 total points. The Knights, we had them plus 8.5.
Yep.
And
do we have a try score in there?
Must have a try score. Carraz. No, Bulldogs. It was Bulldogs.
Can't remember what that part was. But it was our 3-leg kind of safer same game multi to put 50 on it.
And that returned
about 140-ish.
Yeah. And then, that left us at $190 total.
Yeah.
No bonus cash left. After we'd placed the Bulldogs bets, which somehow we didn't win anything.
I tell you what, I felt so good around the doggies and our punts on that because we kind of had everything covered between a couple try score doubles, results. Like it was all sort of there and it all felt real good.
And the game was kicking off after the 50-minute mark and the way the Dogs, and then for some reason they just took the foot off the gas. It was ready to break open.
Yeah.
Kind of after Carraz decided he would just timidly dive in the corner. Thinking, geez, here we go. This is about to break right open.
Yeah.
Didn't, so we didn't get anything on that Bulldogs game. Somehow, still strange it eluded us. And then the Premier League, everyone was pretty keen to eventually get in the green for the first time.
Yeah.
Premier League hadn't treated us well. Obviously, you've had some call-outs from certain people in the pot that we spoke about last week. We didn't listen to what he said this week.
No, we didn't, did we?
But what he did say, it was actually a winner, so that's fine. But we did come through with a win, taking Crystal. No,
it was a Crystal Palace, and there was Spurs in there, and
United under 3.5 goals.
Yeah, that was 2-1.
Yeah, and Spurs over 2.5 goals.
What was that score?
2-1. All the games are 2-1, and then it was Brighton win or draw, and they won 2-1. So that returned us with a $60 stake. Enough from 190 to get to 324.
Yeah, so we said profit at the start, baby. We're talking $4 worth.
$4 profit. So if you put in, let's say everyone put in $10 for instance. What does that come out as? 32 people putting in $10. How much do you get?
$10 and
$4 divided by 32.
Quick maths.
Not very much.
No, but
slightly more than like maybe 12 cents or something.
The ROI is green, and I'll tell you what, that means $10 that you could put back in this week. You don't have to redeposit or anything. Happy days.
The thrill of following our punts for the weekend.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it's a huge weekend. What are they calling it? Footy, Phillies and fans. You've got the Wars Friday night, kick off against the Roosters. We'll be there, mate.
Broncos, Panthers as well.
Yeah, Broncos, Panthers, game of the week. We'll get amongst that. But we'll be at the Wars. It was your first Wars game at Mount Smart.
Yeah, I've been to a couple down here at Henry Stadium.
Yeah, the newly named Henry Stadium. Oh, I was there for the opening, actually. The Knicks, Sydney FC with the new coach, Chris Greenacre. Not a lot changed. 1-0. Thanks for coming.
How do you think Zero feels about getting boxed out by Henry?
Is that what happened? Did Zero apply for it?
Well, I don't know, but they're both,
online the job application firms. Both Wellington-based.
Yeah, and Zero, obviously the bigger name.
Yeah, Henry up-and-comers, the rookies, and they take over the Creighton.
Come on.
Anyway, so Friday night, big one. We've got Champions Day. You've got, 4 group runs, the Sistema, New Zealand Derby, Bone Crusher, and then the big one, which ain't a group 1, but it's the NZB Kiwi. Well written, $1.20. I would love for Ladarada to win that, the people's horse.
Yep. Ladarada, and you got He Who Dares.
He Who Dares, and then Belcheval from Tiaka, all Tiaka runners there.
Mark Walker.
Sam Burgesson, yeah. Mark Walker, Sam Burgesson.
The big issue is that Well Written's drawn a good...
It's about probably the best barrier it could have had.
Drawn a good barrier, and it's also potentially the biggest superstar we've had on the racing scene in New Zealand.
For a long time.
And even Trans-Tasman-wise, you've got Autumn Glow over there now, but...
Yeah, Tentaris could be one of those, but then you had Black Caviar.
And Winks.
Winks.
Yeah, and the only other superstar on the globe right now, Kaiying Rising, and he's over in Hong Kong.
So if you talk, maybe there's Kaiying Rising, and then you've got Autumn Glow, who's a perfect 10 out of 10. Tentaris, who did a lot of wraps around, didn't win last time out, though.
Running in a G1 this weekend, though.
Yeah, in the Newmarket, carrying a 57 kg handicap, though. Would be one of the largest. So it's going to be a tough outing for Tentaris, but plenty of Aussie pundits saying Tentaris would beat Kaiying Rising over the distance. So, and then you've got Well Written here, who's in that superstar. We talk about Fab 4th cricket.
Yeah.
You'd have that Fab 4 with the horse racing at the moment, and Well Written fits in there. So it's going to be a tough battle at Champions Day at Ellerslie, but the weather is good. I've not been to Ellerslie on a good day.
Looking like 24 degrees and sun.
Brilliant. And then you got the Blues on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. And then Auckland FC on Sunday.
Yeah.
UFC 326, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira on Sunday as well. Holy heck.
Probably a T20 World Cup
F1 as well, T20 World Cup final. The weekend just gets bigger.
Basketball's back.
And bigger. So, yeah, do join up. TGC Punts, get amongst the group chat. And we might try go bang this weekend. Talking about going bang. We've had this the punter in the group chat. He's also features a fair bit in some of the other hosted pots around the scene, giving us tips out. Profile by the name of UYK, we're going to call him.
Yep.
Tipped out a heck of a Vegas round multi. Holy heck. Listen to this. $59.78 it paid. 211 people copied this bet.
Yep.
So well done to this profile, this account for tipping out and cleaning out the Betcha books.
Yep.
211 people getting on it, and it was 2 try scorers in both of the games. Murray Tuolangi and Hilam Luki.
Yeah.
In the first game.
He was a hot name to score.
He was. It was about $4 as well to score.
Yeah.
That was $8.10 into the Bulldogs Dragons game, Kiraz and Preston to both score. That's paying $7.38. Combine that, you get the odds of $59.77. So if you put $5 on that, you got $293 back.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people just threw a wee tenner on it.
Cheeky tenner.
And jeez.
Cheeky tenner gets you nearly $600 back. Holy.
Yeah, and then you put that in the pot.
Yeah, happy days. But I'll tell you what, if you've got a couple punts out there this week again, we will be coming for them because we might get around it. I mean, there are some good try-scoring opportunities across the round. I'd love to hit one of these for the pot.
And he's a bit of a league specialist, is he?
Yeah, absolutely. Been doing a bit of a deep dive onto him.
Okay, so we'll have a look at UYK and then throw in some punts from the Champions Day. Where the track is supposedly going to have some heat in it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. That'll put us into the group chat this week, and we will be back. Join us in the pot. So we'll interact with you. We'll chat with you all throughout the weekend. Have some fun. Talk some shit, have some banter. Hopefully return some green, and then we'll be back next Wednesday to we'll do it all again.
Yep, and let's talk about that All Blacks head coach announcement.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, baby.